rivals Albon and Russell on the grid. For the second time this weekend, we have a green flag at the back and 3 red lights at Monza. 4, 5, the second race of the weekend is underway with a poor getaway from second place, and immediately all over the road they go about 5 wide initially. Cameras being swallowed. It was a poor getaway for Boschung as well, and it's Latifi up into the lead as they go down to turn 1 with Russell in second place, and Camera has recovered to third. So lots of drivers got different starts there, but many were blocked. Bit of contact between Markelov and Sergio Sette Camera. That's going to give a massive opportunity for Alexander Albon there in the Navy Dan's car to sweep around, and he's done so already. Up to 4th position with Markelov ahead. The race leader is Nicholas Latifi. Albon with 2 wheels as they go 3 wide. He had 2 wheels on the grass. He's gathered it together. Norris getting very close to Giotto. He's got to think of the championship. Roy Nissany is the car off the road, but it's a change of lead in a major way, and we see Russell getting ahead of his championship rival Norris all the way down there. Latifi, Russell, Markelov, Albon, Sette Camera, Giotto, and then Makino has even got ahead of Norris, who did not have the start he needed. That's for Gazumi going wheel to wheel with Alessio Lorandi. A great start for Nicholas Latifi.
From 4th to 1st in just one break, was just perfect to get away, and then we need to underline Markelov was starting 7th and now 3rd.
I think I might have front wing damage.
So Norris reporting.
Okay.
So Norris reporting that he might have front wing damage. We'll be able to have a look at this as they come down to the Parabolica. He's certainly on the attack. They all line in to keep the slipstream as they go on to lap number 2. A rapid lap here as they all circulate on the medium tyres, and Sergio Sette Camera just not getting the start he needed on a day where many people fancied him for the race. He's going to have to do it the hard way. It's Latifi, Russell, Markelov, Albon, Sette Camera. The top 5. Let's see if Sette Camera can get a run on Albon. No, he can't. So 6th place is Luca Giotto, then Makino, Norris in 8th, Boschung is 9th, and rounding out the top 10, Günther. The top 8 score points, that's Galeo trying to make a move for 10th position, and Aitken getting very close indeed to Arjun Maini, and very nearly contact as they go through the first chicane. It is so tight here. Oh, and there's damage to the front wing there of Günther's car, and he will have to come in and change that. So Günther not able to continue at the racing speed. Disaster for him, and it's a pretty messy. Hopefully he's seen that, because it's very easy to go over your front wing if you can't see it at the front.
Front wing is a terrible thing to have fall off, because you can't see it, as you just said, Alex, and also if it drops off, it goes underneath the front wheels and you can't stop at all. So it's quite a dangerous thing. You might get black flag if he carries on. I've got to say, they're all pretty disciplined, apart from that one contact there. Very good performance there for all of them to avoid the first corner bumping and knocking.
Okay, yeah, you need to box there.
So Arden sounding despondent. They have not had a great weekend as Aitken makes his way through. The big winner off the start in the championship picture, George Russell getting ahead. He's made a lot of places, and Norris down there in 8th position as Günther runs off the road, and he's trying to basically stay out of the way of everyone going through.
He was smart, Russell, because he started 5th, and now he's 2nd, and he's in the DRS zone. Ooh, 3 by side, nothing easy to approach the Parabolica there.
So Latifi trying to do what he did 1 week ago. He's had a torrid season. He's not been happy at all with the balance of this new Dallara build Formula 2 2018 car. Lock up for Makino. We didn't see any errors from him yesterday. He's under major pressure, trying to keep the McLaren junior driver behind. We're on board with him as he goes up through the gears and Curva Grande. He's gaining. Norris now needs a major race to make sure that he doesn't lose even more points to Russell. The first car in front of him is Makino. He's getting closer in the slipstream. He knows he's got to make this move, and he has made this move into the second chicane. Tidy stuff.
That was just perfect, because he prepared it very well, and Makino, he had the lock-up, so maybe some vibration on tires. So not an easy condition to defend to Norris, that it looks just too good for the moment for him.
Latifi is the leader. In second place, George Russell, who said he lost the race yesterday because he didn't have confidence on the brakes. And around here, that is something that can basically finish a race. He said his early lack of confidence is something he would have to address today. As Damon, we look one more time at this move into the second chicane.
Replay of a textbook move here, and he just managed to go around the outside. It's always nasty going around the outside, because if the driver moves over, you're on the dirt going in, and he threads his way through the chicane successfully. So he looks confident enough there.
I remember a manoeuvre Ewan Schumacher back in 1995. I'm not sure we should bring that up.
Well, I was getting a bit of uncomfortable feeling watching that. It seemed very familiar to something that went terribly wrong back in the day with Michael. And I went around the outside of I can't remember his name, the Italian, a Japanese driver. Anyway, and I went in a bit too deep and went up the back of Michael Schumacher as he moved back in front of me. I did apologise.
Latifi just about staying ahead of Russell. Russell having a really good lap. You can see at the top of your screen, fastest lap of the race. And Boschung, who has faded in a big way from his position at the start. Aitken going deep in there, racing Maney, but it's getting very close indeed at the front of the field. Latifi knows that he's going defensive. Russell trying to take another victory this season. He already has 4 to his name. He's looking for number 5, Latifi, who's had to wait for so long. He said during the photo shoot that they do for the race winners. Oh, there's a big spin there. That's Galeo, who's made contact, and he's come to a halt with Boschung just about making his way through there. Boschung, who started this race on reverse grid pole, and he has come to a halt. We have a yellow flag, understandably, after that incident, and it seems that Sean Galeo is out of the race, and this is why. Racing Boschung, trying to get through, and Boschung making contact and sending Galeo off the road.
That was risky because he opened the line on the braking zone. Very risky.
Well, that was exactly what we were just talking about, wasn't it? It's precisely the thing you fear going into that chicane, is the driver on the left moves over onto you on the right, and if you make contact, he's very lucky it wasn't worse than that, actually.
So Russell very close. Remember, Russell, his tactics yesterday when he overtook Markelov, he wasn't happy with what Markelov did. Markelov backed off and then retook Russell on this long, iconic straight. Russell's learned his lesson. He didn't go for the move in the Parabolica, but right now, he's got the race lead right in front of him, and he's accelerating and going past Nicholas Latifi to take the race lead. Can Latifi come back? No, he can't, and Russell takes the lead on lap number 5, but he's locked up and gone deep into the corner, and that's going to allow Latifi back through and leave him vulnerable with Markelov, I should say, coming very close to him through Curva Grande, and what looked like he was going to be first position could well be third, because here's the driver that finished second yesterday, and they've got double waved yellows down there. I'm surprised they didn't deploy the virtual safety car, and Markelov does get through, so Russell goes from first to third in a matter of corners.
A little mistake for Russell, that he lost the braking point because he prepared the overtake perfectly well. Look, he was already in front in the braking zone, but maybe Latifi scared him with this, and he just missed a bit the brake and put himself in a trouble.
You do wonder about the DRS then. Oh, it closed very late. I mean, you know, people in favour of the DRS or anti the DRS, you have to say the pass was quite easy, but it actually also caused him out, I think, as he went into the chicane.
So this was the mad start we had. Both drivers on the front row getting away slowly. That allowed Latifi on the left-hand side to take the lead. Seems a long time ago, given the action that we've already seen. Very close indeed. Confident stuff by the Canadian driver into turn 1. So Norris thought he had front wing damage. Let's see why. Is the contact with Alexander Albon there? Oh, only with the tyres, so he did well to get away with that. Albon going around the outside of Sergio Sede Cameron.
Yeah, it was just perfect Markelov that he started so well. He could recover so many positions, and now he's trying to attack on Latifi.
Here comes Artem Markelov using DRS. Latifi has fended off Russell. Can he fend off the master overtaker in this field? That's Artem Markelov going through and into the lead, and this time making the move, he does slow the car down. That was a huge amount of speed Artem Markelov had when he took P1.
I think George Russell will be watching that and thinking that's what I should have done.
You can say that. You can say that, David. And great to have Damon Hill and Davide Valsecchi with us as Markelov having to go on the defensive, but I don't think Latifi's going to have enough momentum. No, the feint isn't enough to put pressure on Markelov, making the mistake, and he manages to stay ahead. So Russian time winners yesterday with Tadasuke Makino. Could they be winners today with Artem Markelov? Markelov, who doesn't love this car, but he has managed to adapt to it as the season's gone on. 3-time winner so far this year, most recently in Austria, and he's looking to secure a victory here at Monza. He said this is going to be his last season at this level in Formula 2. He's already got the most wins in the field with 8. He had 1 win in GP2 as well, and he is looking very comfortable. One thing we do see, Davide, when he gets into the lead, he gets into that Vettel-like rhythm, and he is very difficult to hunt down.
Yeah, you're right, and for him now it's crucial to try to open the gap and be away from the DRS zone, because the DRS going to Ascari helps the rivals to get closer, and now he needs to get away and to try to pull away.
I'm not familiar with like team orders. Is he going to get instructions? So is Markelov
it's every man.
Latifi get every man for himself.
Every man for himself. Just as it should be at this level.
The whole George Russell. But George has got looks like he's got a toe here. So getting closer anyway.
Yeah, thankfully team orders is a Formula 1 problem and not a Formula 2 issue, otherwise that would get pretty messy as we went through the season. It's an absolutely fair question to ask given how close we've seen some things now. Russell closing in, he's seen Markelov make the move, he'll be so frustrated. He's had a difficult week, you have to say. Worst round of the season in Belgium, and then didn't quite execute his race how he wanted to yesterday. He's still on the podium, which gives you a measure of how good his season's been. If he's having a difficult weekend when he's only in third position, I say only, but right now he knows that today is absolutely crucial. Every point he can gain. Norris is up to 6th position, but every single time he stays in that place, Norris is catching, and this was Galeo and Boschon.
And he moved under braking. What the hell? It's so dangerous. It's not legal to do that. What the hell? Everybody sees the rain man. Man, the idiot.
We have a Team Radio Award at the end of every season for Formula 2, and we're going to have a lot to play at the end of this season. Another frustrated drive, but Damon, you can understand why.
No, totally right. I mean, the thing is, when something like that happens, you get a bit of a fright, to be honest. And you do realise, whoops, that was a bit close, and it could have been a lot nastier. So they're going very, very fast down into the second chicane there. But he wasn't crying, which is good. That's something in his favour.
So Markelov is the leader, 2nd place, about to be contended. Down the main straight they go one more time, and he's very, very close indeed. Latifi is kept with Markelov, and Russell now using the outside line, which becomes the inside line right about now. But it's Latifi who's got the corner as we go back on board with them, and they go down to the second chicane.
Not easy there for Russell, because it's the second time that he's missing a bit of break point, and now he's in trouble because Santi Camera, one of the quickest yesterday, is putting pressure on him, and he's trying using the toe of Albon in front of him, or Latifi, sorry.
And he's through, or is he? That's the question. How late can Russell be on the brakes? Just late enough.
He's just sunk, hasn't he? George Russell has sunk down into the DRS zone, and now they're just catching him. It's like cycling, isn't it?
So the peloton, if you like, getting very close indeed. This allows Markelov to break out a DRS zone. That is a DRS range, I should say. That is absolutely crucial. And then Latifi managing to hang on to 2nd place, and Russell not able to make the move. Now looking ahead and behind as well. And Camera will want that win. He'll believe he can still get it. He was running pretty identical lap times to George Russell last time around. And once again, we see the field at the front in Formula 2, very close together. Super exit from Ascari as they go down to the Parabolica.
And now they are 3, because Latifi and then Russell and then Santi Camera. Not an easy condition for Russell, that he would like to take the position.
Out of DRS, so this is the time to pass him.
So Russell being told this is the time to pass him. Davide, you've already told me what you think of engineers' messages like that, but Russell knows he's got to make the move. He knows there's a huge amount of points on offer. Still the race victory he could be in contention for this round. Who's it going to go to? It's going to go to Russell now. Can he slow it down in a way that he wasn't to when he was battling for the lead? Yes, he can. 2nd place for George Russell. This time he makes it work.
Well, thank God the engineer came on the radio at the right time there, because I don't think George Russell would have known what to do if he hadn't been told. So fantastic driving there, taking instructions from the team, and reacted very, very spontaneously. And now we've got a problem. He's got to actually extend a little bit of a lead, a bit like Markelov. He's now got to push ahead, because these guys will get him back with the toe again.
Lap 9 at 21, Sergio Sette Camera looks like he's got an enormous amount of pace. If he can clear Latifi in front of him, I think Camera, if he can just look after those medium tyres, they are still expecting to have to look after the tyres a little bit in terms of degradation. If he can look after them, he's going to have an opportunity of catching the drivers in front, because remember, he came through from the pit lane to 7th yesterday, and he's showing that same sort of pace once again. Albon is there in 5th position, and Norris is 2 seconds adrift of this. This is wide open for victory.
Push out now to make the gap.
They've been listening to you, Damon. The engineer saying push out the gap.
Well, I mean, to be fair, they probably are considering tyres. Do they get tyre degradation? So they have to actually be able to measure their input into the tyres, because it might be the case. I'm not wrong, actually, that the tyre gets drop off towards the end. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. And for sure, he needs to try to get Markelov to have the slipstream. And look, maybe Latifi is struggling a bit because now he's under pressure. Set the camera, looks faster than him.
So Sete Camera is the driver to watch. Latifi knows it with that late move to the inside, the defensive part of the racetrack, and he will just try and get the better traction out of the first turn through Curva Grande. Let's see if he can do that. Trying to get on the throttle earlier than Latifi does, but you're always a car length behind, and he's close but not close enough. Latifi showing us some of that defensive driving off the back of his first win of the season 1 week ago. Doesn't seem to have the pace to do that, but he's fighting for a podium right now. Sete Camera all over the road trying to get past him.
Terrific stuff, isn't it? Fantastic. You know, they're fighting so hard, all these guys, and they're so experienced in any case. So
we have fastest lap? No, 34.8, 34.8 for fastest lap. It's Sete Camera currently.
So Russell being told what the fastest lap is, currently set by Sergio Sete Camera, and he is getting very, very close now to Latifi in the second DRS zone around this racetrack. So they go underneath the old banking and to the Ascari chicane, but it's all about his exit out of this corner and then about not getting too close through the Parabolica. This is the time for Camera to make the move.
Yeah, because for the first time Latifi didn't have the advantage of the DRS, and look now Camera, how close is him. He needs to prepare very well the exit of Parabolica to try to get the chance at the end of the main straight. Crucial for him. Yeah, the exit is perfect.
So Latifi was so wide there, he was shaving the grass as he went through the Parabolica on the entry, but it's not going to be enough, we don't think. Look at the speed they have as they build up to 190 miles an hour, over 330. The DRS there and a lock-up for Russell ahead, but it's third position for Sergio Sete Camera as he attempts to come back, and the race leader's gone deep into turn 1. Artem Markelov going straight on. There he is, and that will give an opportunity to Russell, who's around the outside of Curva Grande, and into the race lead. A mistake from Markelov, and a change of lead with Russell getting past. Markelov trying to fight back as they go to the second chicane, and they're going at it, nothing between them, but it's Russell who accepts the gift and gets himself up to the race lead.
How is possible that he missed the break when he was alone leading the race, and he missed it so deeply because he just cut completely the chicane? Strange mistake from Markelov that he was leading the race perfectly.
Well, what a race for George. He's been up and down, hasn't he, like a yo-yo. He's back in the lead now. He's finally made it, but here we are with the lock-up, and you can see that Markelov just locked up and pushing too hard. Maybe he felt the pressure from George Russell behind.
So Markelov making the mistake, foot to the floor, and Russell just placed the car perfectly as they went through Curva Grande. Then it became a test of the braking, and this is Lando Norris. We're on board with him with all that drama for the race lead, and Norris racing Albon. Remember, this is his championship rival, and he's going past him now, so a difficult start, but a good recovery drive developing for Lando Norris. The bad news for him, though, is his rivals in the lead, and Alexander Albon in the end able to stay ahead.
Very wise driving there from Lando. And, you know, staying out of trouble. It's all very well just to put your wheel in front, but you can be too aggressive and you both go off.
So Markelov trying to retake the place. Good lap from him to get closer, but you see how much that cost him on the last lap, losing 2.1 seconds. Wasn't enough to keep the race lead, and Albon now is behind Norris, so they were very close together in the first part of the lap, and later on, Norris getting up to 5th position. He needs that for the championship. He will have heard on the radio that Russell is the race leader.
Yeah, Norris needs to get him to try to regain some points, and maybe Markelov is going to help him, because now the fight between Russell and Markelov. What's up?
That's a mistake. We're going wide there for Alexander Albon, and it was a gift for Russell in the lead and a gift for Lando Norris there to get up to 5th.
Strange mistake, he just missed the corner there. Well, strange mistake, second Lesmo. It's not so usual to have a mistake there.
Well, you can see how much George Russell is pushing all the way on the green painted tarmac. I think Albon has a problem because he's very slow off the same corner again. Markelov giving it everything to get closer.
My engine cuts out. Cutting out every single time now. Every single time I go to third gear.
And that is why it was happening at the second Lesmo. Every single time he goes for third gear, the engine cutting out, and Albon losing a position. This is rotten luck for the driver who went into today with 176 points, third in the driver's standings. He was ahead of one of his rivals, but in the end, it seems like a mechanical issue is going to cost the popular Thai driver. Real disappointment for him, and now he's got Luca Giotto closing in as well.
And good chance, because look now, Russell just behind him, Markelov just behind them, set the camera that he started from the first row. He had a bad start, he dropped down to 7th, and now he's still in fight for the victory. So fantastic end of race today.
Yeah, they are all in the mix. The top three, absolutely any of them could find themselves on the top step. We saw good racing intelligence from George Russell to keep his head yesterday. He was passed by Norris yesterday, Damon, but he managed to keep cool. One thing I heard a lot in the paddock was the surprise that, well, I thought Norris got past, he'd disappear. This is Formula 2. You've got to work every single lap to hold on to your position.
Yeah, it's a fantastic formula. I mean, the cars are designed so that they can be raced. They've got a little bit of underfloor grip, and also they're very similar chassis. Well, they're all the same chassis and very similar power up.
We think Markelov and Sete got the really short gearbox.
So short gearbox being told on the radio, Davide.
And that's interesting, because yesterday we saw some drivers that they were hitting the limitator just at the end of the main straight. And so good advantage for Russell, good spot from the engineers, because you can use the maximum speed and not be attacked at the end of the straight.
I think George is going to have trouble though keeping Markelov behind, because this looks like it's going to be difficult for George to get away and get out of the DRS zone.
So Markelov has not been able to break clear. He's certainly been trying. He's been using all the road a little bit more. Same applies as they run up to that outer curve through the Parabolica. It's an ART leading a Russian time. Markelov closing all the while, but is he going to hit the limiter at this point? He's right in with a chance, and he's with that late move. He knew that there was going to be a defensive move thrown by George Russell. There was. The top three in your picture, the top two, Russell and Markelov, both winners so far this year, and Markelov not able to get close enough, but he's putting Russell under enormous pressure lap after lap.
Maybe that was an example of what you're just talking about, what the engineers are saying. If they've got Markelov who's got a shorter top gear, maybe with the DRS he just can't make advantage of it.
Okay, but it seems our engine is struggling a bit. You're doing a great job for the moment. We want to stay here on the toe. This is the best position we can do. You're doing great.
So Markelov being told he's doing a great job. We heard that an awful lot yesterday being said, and you can see how hard they are pushing. They are really on the limit around this circuit. Russell trying to get out of DRS range, Markelov trying to take the race lead, and Sergio Sete Camara hoping that something happens to the pair in front of him. This is amazing to see. Sometimes you know they're pushing and you can't quite see it. It's pretty obvious today.
It's brewing up to be a bit of a classic, this, isn't it? Now you've got three guys who are going to be pretty soon going to be all over. Two guys are going to be over George Russell, but the three of them fighting for this tremendous accolade of winning an F2 race here at the Monza Autodromo.
And so Markelov with a little bit of the engine issue, which we heard on the radio. ART spotted it beforehand. Remember, he will be hurting his tyres a little bit running this close to the car in front. You do still damage the tyres a little bit, but he's gaining all the time, still within DRS range. Is he able to do something different this time, or is Russell going to be comfortably in the lead? Here we go. He's getting closer at this moment. Is he going to try a late move? You can bet if it was towards the end of the race, he would do that. But Russell, for now, with that advantage of straight line speed, is comfortable, well, comfortable-ish if you can be, with a couple of car lengths between you and second place in the lead.
Yeah, Russell, he had a pair of mistakes at the beginning of the race at that break, but now he's driving perfectly, and at that break at the first chicane is making the difference for him, because every single lap he's so deep in brake that he can maintain the position of Markelov, that maybe lap after lap you struggle a bit more with the tires when you are following your rival so closely.
If you are just switching on the TV, you've missed 15 pretty entertaining laps in which the both drivers, Boschong and Sergio Sete Camara, got a poor start from the front row. Nicholas Latifi was the race leader at the start, and then Markelov was able to get by him. Markelov held the lead for a long time, but you can see he's in second place, and he's in second place due to a mistake he made earlier on at turn number 1. That's probably his best opportunity to retake the lead, and look at how wild this is as the train of cars come up behind Roy Nissany, and Alexander Albon is still doing his stuff. He's still out there with that engine problem. You can see Boccolacci is in the points, Aitken is 8th, and then we get to this gaggle. Nissany, Albon, Maney, De Vries, who has managed to come back through the field despite starting in the pit lane. Wait for him, there he is. And then the two Charouz cars, that's Antonio Fuoco, the Ferrari Academy driver, who was in 14th. Very close stuff in the second half of the field.
It's not like that pacing going on there, is there? There's too much can change in a very short space of time. If any one of those guys make any kind of error, they're all going to be towing each other down here. They're going to be, the guy in the back is going to get a fantastic tow.
And so Albon racing with an understandable amount of frustration, still trying to come back. Every single time he goes for third gear, there is an issue. The teammates are racing in the background. It's not for points, it's certainly for pride. And Antonio Fuoco manages to get himself ahead. He's up to 13th position on lap 16. And now Russell has got out of DRS range, 1.2 seconds. So maybe a mistake there for Markelov, because that gap has now come out to 1.2, and that could be enough as these teammates continue to race down to the second chicane.
Albon, that is right, he was fighting for the victory and now he's just fighting for some points, but we need to underline De Vries that he started front. Oh, he's in!
So they're all going past as Albon has that issue once again. Remember, the engine cutting out, and I don't think it's going to be too much longer before he parks the car here. I'm surprised Race Control haven't called him in already. And we see Fuoco with a massive moment trying to get past the dams. That's going to give an opportunity to his Swiss teammate. There he is, right on that gearbox as they go down to Ascari, and on the pit wall they'll be covering their eyes at Charouz because it was very close, but he knows who he's racing and he tucks in behind. So the order there now, Aitken still with the final point, Nissany in 9th, then Maini in 10th, De Vries in 11th, then Fuoco and Delatraz. Fuoco up to 12th. 5 laps to go. It has disappeared so very quickly, and Russell, who has presented the lead, has worked very hard to get out of DRS range. Has he done enough?
How can I be so slow on this train? Why so and they can still pass me? Louis, focus so you can capitalize on what happens.
To Delatraz being told, there's no need to worry about how quick you are. Easier to say as the engineer around Monza, and Nissany losing 9th place to Arjun Maini, who's just 1 place away from scoring his first points since the French round of the season way back in June. And so Maini will hope that something happens to one of the 8 cars ahead of him further up the order, and Aitken has gone from 17th to the points. Reminiscent of what we saw from George Russell in Budapest. De Vries coming through from the pit lane, and he's down the inside. Can he hold the move? Contact there! Off the road goes Nissany, and he continues, but with a damaged front wing.
The maneuver from De Vries. Oh, he had trouble.
And he's got trouble as well. So De Vries having contact with Nissany, and a great charging drive is going to come to an end with damage to the car.
Yeah, probably drive shaft or something like this, Damon. I think was risky that maneuver, because he brakes so deep on the inside. Look, with the wet patch there, and then he had to force his rival. No, he had a puncture.
Yeah, just punctured his right front on the wing there. So that's the end of a very strong charge. He was fighting desperately, wasn't he, to get back into the points and have a look at things.
But it's not worked out. Another collision on the circuit, and Nissany's still racing. His team probably need to call him in with that front wing vibrating, but he's taking his chance for the moment, with the Charouz racing cars not able to get past at the moment. They are very close. Is he going to come in? No, he's going to continue, and it's going to be a mega tow. Delatraz been complaining about engine trouble. He won't have any engine trouble at the moment as they go 3 wide with that front wing vibrating for Nissany, and he's passed by the pair of them. Now Fuoco trying to focus on keeping Delatraz behind. Can he slow it down? Oh, Nissany gets past in the braking zone, but they need to come in and change that, and they're nearly making contact off the road. I've never seen that before.
It's so predictable, isn't it? I mean, you've got a front wing that's falling off, and then he ends up in the last car, and you just think this is going to not work. I'm starting to speak Italian. I don't know why I'm speaking like you, David. I'm putting my words back to front. But I mean, yeah, you can't stop with the front wing falling off. He should really come in.
So Nissany probably should have been called into the pits, as Damon says. And this was a bit of a mess, you have to say, Davide, down at turn 1.
Yeah, it was risky, and then look, one of the drivers is still in race. He tried to cut the corner just to take an advantage, but then there was a contact almost. So
this from Louis Delatraz when he went straight on and into the polystyrene. It's like when you get bored on the PlayStation, went straight through it there. So I thought at that point he was going to have a massive lock-up. Delatraz, go through them. Yeah, let's just go straight through them. Don't worry about that. Out of the way. It's like Mario Kart. Madness. Back to the race lead. Russell, who has fought his way through, and he has had a strong drive today. Sede Camera is getting close to Markelov, who doesn't seem to have the speed to go with the race leader.
Yeah. I was going to say, David, George has measured this very well, and you think he's had to fight his way through, and he's actually managed to eke out a bit of a lead and looks very, very much in control of this race. The sort of thing you need to show, the sort of composure you need to show the guys in F1. You know, if you want to make it from F2 and you want to go into F1, you've got to show you've got a cool head and you're quick.
And, well, he's had a bit of a mixed season, George Russell, in terms of being linked to Formula One. At one point, he looked a very good bet indeed to slot into a Williams drive, and then Daniel Ricciardo moved to Renault, and the drivers' market has got a little bit wild, so there might not be an opportunity for him, but he's shown this year that he is an extraordinary driver as Campos finally do change the front wing of Roy Nissany, and that puts him down to the very back of the field. I think De Vries will come in. You can see he's got an issue on the front of his tyre. Not looking in the healthiest condition. 1.6 seconds the race lead as we go into the final stages. And the main battle then for second position. Sergio Sette Camara looking for another podium. He's been on the rostrum 7 times already so far in his career, once last year and 6th this. And he is looking to make it second place, which of course is where he started this race.
Probably Markelov used a bit too much the tires, following very closely Russell. That is making the difference at the moment. But Sette Camara seems to be much quicker than Markelov at the moment. So maybe we can have a fight for the podium position. Look, Sette Camara just to show a bit himself.
Well, he's going to have to do it in the latter stages of the penultimate lap or on the final lap. Markelov this year has been so impressive when he's got to the lead. Today, though, a mistake is going to rob him of victory. He's currently on for 2 second places and a huge haul of points from the weekend. The driver that went into this today's race 5th in the standings, and he's got De Vries having an issue, so to move closer to the Prema driver. Pressure lap then for Markelov, but he's experienced at this level. This is his 5th year at the second tier of motorsport on the penultimate lap. And Russell today, who started 5th, would have just been looking to beat Norris. He's not only going to beat Norris, he's going surely to win.
He's struggling to follow on the highest speed.
And so Markelov getting that encouragement on the radio, being told that he's struggling to follow on the highest speed. The driver behind him, that is. And 1.5 seconds the gap. And Russell now just bringing it through. He's about to start his final tour of this famous old circuit. And after a terrible round, you have to say, their worst of the year in Italy, Russell is going to respond with a race victory for ART and himself to extend his championship lead. He's got 1 tour to go, so let's not put the commentator's curse on it.
Yeah, extremely good today, Russell. Yesterday, he suffered a bit the battle between him and Markelov, but today he was just a bit better. He put pressure on him. Markelov had the mistake, and then Russell was so good to open the gap. Probably Sette Camara is trying. He has some trouble with the DRS. Look now, he's already close.
Oh, he's locking up, he's thinking about it, and he's gone off the road. He knew it was one of his last opportunities to get past, and he wasn't able to get past as the polystyrene blocks take another pounding down there. Right mess, but that mistake, that lock-up, that late move has ensured that Markelov surely is going to finish in second place, and Sergio Sette Camara will be on the podium, but in third.
None of these drivers could be accused of not trying, could they? I mean, it is a fantastic demonstration of the will to win, and he went for a move, and as Davide was saying, that didn't look like the DRS opened or something was wrong with that. Anyway, he went for it anyway from a long way back, tried to do it down to Ricciardo, but didn't quite come off.
So Norris with Latifi directly in front of him. Remember, in the last stages of yesterday's race, Latifi got past Norris. You never know how important each and every point is going to be at the end of the season. But you have to say, having had a good couple of rounds eating into George Russell's championship lead, Russell has responded to Norris's charge here in northern Italy, and Russell is going to come through. It's been a long time since he's won a race. You've got to go all the way back to the middle of the triple header, back in Austria. He's just checking where Artem Markelov is. Is Norris going to be close enough for a go? I don't think he is. His rival, though, is going to extend his championship lead for the 5th time this season. George Russell looks up, sees the checkered flag, and Russell wins at Monza. A superb drive after Markelov's mistake. The Russian comes home in second. Sergio Sette Camara comes home in third. Latifi is 4th. Norris did not quite have the momentum to get through at the end. He finishes half a second behind. It's another victory, though, for Russell and ART.
RT and Russell were just perfect, and George Russell sometimes is impressive how he could maintain the calm when he's leading the race. Today was just on his best performance, and Markelov, I think he paid the mistake. He had the lock up, he missed the first chicane, and from that point he's starting to have some trouble. Maybe also some of vibration with the front tires, you lose a bit of also top speed. So Markelov, I think he lost the race there in that break.